So I am live on YouTube. Let me just get everything set up, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. We got that going. I'll get this launched up in a little bit. And woo. All right. So if you guys want to see the whole screen, you want to see the whole shebang, you're going to have to go to YouTube. What's up, people? I'm live on YouTube. I decided to just stream here on Instagram as well, but I'm not going to be moving my camera around, getting the exposure and all that good stuff. If you want to see the goods, you need to head to my YouTube channel. And yeah. So anyways, I'm going to start off with HDR. And hey, what's up on YouTube? What's up, guys? I got 14 people watching on YouTube right now. And so anyways, I'm going to re-edit this image. I felt like I want to come back to it and try something completely different. So you've already seen this image on my channel, or not my channel, my Instagram page, but I want to try and see if I can get something that looks a little different. Just go a little bit crazy with it. I think right about there looks pretty good. Yeah. I might add some light onto her face right now. So, hey, good evening. What's up? See, on YouTube, my crowd is mainly from India and different countries. It's crazy. That's why I like to go live in the morning for my other peeps that follow my work. Okay, so I'm still on HDR. I'm gonna see, I wanna add an empty adjustment. And then I want to brush in just on the face. I'm gonna push M. And I wanna bring up maybe the levels. So if I can find the levels adjustment, just add just a little bit of light there. Because the light was already camera left, it would make sense that it's coming a little bit brighter there. Now I might go to Luma range and then bring it in just a little bit, I think. Hit apply. I don't want to get too crazy. So that's looking pretty good so far. Still not convinced with the sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my white balance. I'm going to do new filled layer. And I like to name this layer white balance plus color. So if you're watching me on Instagram and you want to see the whole screen, you need to go to my YouTube channel. I have about 33 people watching me on YouTube, and you get to see the whole beautiful screen instead of this kind of wonky YouTube or Instagram screen where it's always all out of focus and exposure's all messed up. So anyways, I'm gonna adjust my white balance. I tend to go in the warmer side, so I'm gonna go and bring up my Kelvin up just a little bit. And then I'm gonna look at my tint to see if I wanna go more in the magenta. Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit more magenta. The image seems a little bit too like greenish, and I think it's because all these greens were bouncing light back up. I'm gonna come back to my adjustment layer. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more light onto that face right there. Good. And then I might come back to my HDR, and I'm gonna come back in and maybe come back into my highlights and adjust that. So my process is very organic in the sense of I'm trying things might not work, and I'll come back and I'll make some more adjustments, and then I'll make more adjustments and come back. So it's not just like I know exactly where I'm going. I like to always come back to my layers and just kind of like, just see, okay, did I go a little bit too far here? So this looks okay. And then the face looks all right. I might actually pull it back just a little bit. Where am I here? Here it is. And then the white balance color adjustment. So I'm gonna still go back to my white balance color adjustments, and I'm gonna see if I can target this little sky back here and see what I can come up with. So I'm gonna grab that blue. I'm gonna go view selected color range. And then what I wanna see, so let me take a look at some of the questions here on YouTube. I have a question. Do I have a crack for Capture 120, or I must buy it? You must buy it. Jersey in the room. What's up, man? Oh man, I'm learning. Cool beans. Please, sir, make a full tutorial on Capture One. I already have one. I only have one right now. I am gonna be working on a. Hey, it's Ness. Chicken Nuggies on here. Yes, it is way better than Instagram Live. That's why I've been going live on my YouTube channel. It is just 10 times better because you see everything. It's clear, it's crisp, and it's just so much better. Even if I did I know that there's the yellow duck, I think it's called, where you can stream like your full screen on the iPhone. It's still like not that great because it's still real small. Like you can just get on your iPad, your laptop, and you can see everything. So anyways, right now I have the blue selected. I'm going to actually smooth out the colors because I wanted to grab a little bit more. So I'm smoothing that out. And I'm going to see if I can maybe grab just a little bit more here. Right there. Cool. Now, I would have music playing on my YouTube channel, but I'm listening to music myself. I can't broadcast that music because then it would be copyright and then I'd get in trouble. So I'm going to bring those tones down. I want it to be a little bit darker back there. And let me see what happens if I bring up the saturation. Yeah, I want the saturation up just a little bit. Cool. The hue, I tend to go a little bit more in the teals, but I don't want to push my colors too much. I just kind of want to get a good base set up. So I already have my blues, and then now I'm going to go into my greens. I'm going to select some of these greens. Obviously, there's a lot of greens here, and I need to decide, do I want to desaturate these greens? A lot of people will desaturate the greens, and then some people do the opposite. They'll bring up the greens. So I'm going to just play around with that. I'm going to go to the lightness. And by bringing down the lightness, that puts less attention. If I bring it up, it puts more attention on them. So I don't want it to come out that much. So I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit. I'm going to go to saturation and decide, do I want to remove the green or add more green? Definitely adding it is just overkill. So we're just going to go a little bit low on the greens. Let me check my YouTube comments over here. This program seems intuitive. Alex, yes, it is. Capture One is super awesome. Has a lot of really cool features. Once you get used to it, it's really cool. I still use Lightroom and I still use Camera Raw. So I use all 3 raw processors. They're all good. Hello, I have a question. Can you do the same edit in Capture One with Camera Raw? Yes, I could. Now there's going to be some areas where I'm not going to be able to refine it as much. Like right now, what I'm doing right now with the color editor and using the adjustment brush and the HDR, it's going to be a little bit more work in Camera Raw, but it can definitely be done. Hey, what's up, Pixels? All right, so let me just continue here. I'm still live on Instagram. I might get off of Instagram. Looks like everybody migrated onto YouTube because I have about 45 people watching on YouTube and I only have about 15 now on Instagram. And like I said, Instagram gets kind of annoying after a while because you can't see anything. So yeah, so I got this right now. Let me see what I might want to do here. I'm going to go into my vignetting, maybe add just a little bit of vignette. Nah, I'm not going to do that right now. Let's add my grain. I'm going to go to my background layer, and I like to add the curve, the extra shadow curve. There you go. That softens it up just a little bit. That looks nice. Clarity. I don't think I need to do anything else besides the color. One of the last things that I forgot to do is go to my color balance, which is right here, and I can adjust my shadows, my midtones, and my highlights. So I'm going to go into my shadows. So I'm just kind of playing around with it, seeing what looks good. I'm going to exaggerate it. I'm going to go like really deep with these colors. And I think I actually like more in the magenta purple in my shadows, just a little bit. Midtones will go a little bit in the reds, and then the highlights will go a little bit with the yellows there. So I like the color adjustments I made. She's looking a little bit magenta, but it's not too bad. I think I can fix it with the tint. Yeah, so I'll just bring it back maybe. Let's go 1.1. Where was it at? If I can get that. If I can't, it's okay. There we go. I typically like to go with a little bit less contrast going into Photoshop. So let me look at the before and after. I love this new tool that they've added. So far it's looking pretty good. I typically like to go with a more flatter image going into Photoshop. And then they added this new slider. I kind of wish Photoshop would add this. That would be super amazing. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let me just click it one more time. Let me do the full one, full view. Good. I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. I think that looks good. at least as a starting point, and then we'll get into the more heavy color grading in Photoshop. So I'm going to go edit with and then Photoshop. And then here I use sRGB, 300 resolution, and then 16-bit, and then TIFF. I'm going to go edit variant. That basically means edit a copy. What else we got? Any questions over here? Here is way better to go live. I agree, Pixels. As usual, Maestro, just hooking it up with the live edits. You're welcome, guys. I'm also, by the way, guys, those of you that are watching on my YouTube channel, there's a lot of you. There's about 48 of you. Oh, I think I messed that up. I think I forgot to, this is just a post I did today. Let me take these off real quick. Let me save these. And I think I opened it the wrong way. No, I didn't. I could have swore I did it right. Anyways, here it is. And then we're going to go edit with, and then Photoshop, and then edit variant. Anyways, I'm going to start editing your photos live on my YouTube channel. So I kind of briefly mentioned it on my YouTube channel. So if you follow me on my YouTube channel, you know that I made an announcement about it. I don't know why it's not letting me edit in Photoshop. So let me try it one more time. Maybe I just need to click OK when I go into here. Yeah, let me just open it like that. That'll be fine. Okay. So anyways, you can just email them. Use an embedded, convert to working space. Yeah, we're going to convert this. Email them to Infante Critique, and I'm going to start editing your images in on my Instagram, my YouTube live. So that's going to be fun, so that I can get a variety of images and you can kind of see how I would approach your images. So I already have a couple. I was going to do it today, but I was like, this image, I'd been wanting to come back to it because the first time I edited this image, I liked it, but something's still kind of bothering me about it. And so I want to make sure, I've always told myself I want to come back and re-edit this image just to kind of see if I come back a second time, it would come out better. So that's what I'm doing right now. All right, so there's gonna be a couple of distractions I'm gonna wanna remove, which I remember the first time I edited, it's gonna be this little plant here and this. A lot of this is gonna be done with frequency separation, so we probably will get into that right now. And then the hair, just a little bit of hair kind of flowing a little too much, so I'm gonna go into frequency separation. And I am going to need to get a good radius here so that I can make sure that we can separate these, because I definitely want to be able to remove that. We don't want it that much though. So this 22 looks like it's going to be good for the skin. So let's go maybe about 18. 18 still looks good for the skin for sure. And then I want to see, once again, what it's doing here with this plant. So there's still some parts there. So I'm going to go, let's go 20, and we'll be good with that. So let's fix the blemishes first, and then we'll see if I can get that grass out of the way. Or you know what, let's go over the grass first, because that one's going to be a pain in the butt. It is not going to be fun trying to remove that grass. And I can't remember how I did it the first time. I think I used frequency separation. I want to say that's what I did. Let me see. So is it part of the texture? So there's a little bit of texture with it. So it might be color. So let me see if I try with the mixer brush to remove this. Come on, ice cream. Don't embarrass me now on YouTube. Come on. Let's see. So can I mix this color? So it is going to work, but then I'm going to have to come to the texture layer and then remove, see all this part right here, that's all texture. That's why nothing's happening. So now I'm going to come into the texture layer. So I think it should work. I think it's going to look good. I can also maybe even do the, forgot to change it to current layer. I can maybe even use like the healing brush. But no, this looks like it's working fine. This looks like it's working good. Yay, I didn't embarrass myself on YouTube. Woohoo! People roast you on YouTube. You know that, guys? If you don't get it right, man, people will roast you. If you do one thing wrong, everybody will comment and they'll let you know, man. So I saved myself from being humiliated on YouTube. Okay, so that one's out of the way. That's cool. I guess let's go to this one over here. Let me start getting rid of these blemishes. So I'm on frequency separation. I'm using that to remove that little grass that was like right on her leg. And then it looks like she has like a little scrape here. So let's kind of fix that. Cool beans. And what else? So I'm just out of curiosity. I'm going to make a new layer because I have a feeling somebody's thinking to themselves like, Eli, you could probably just use the healing brush. So let's just see what the healing brush or like the patch tool. No, the patch tool I can't use because I would have to merge it. I'm going to use the healing tool real quick. I see a lot of comments on YouTube, guys. I'll get to you guys in a little bit. I'm so sorry. Right now, I'm just kind of into this kind of like grass thing. So I'm going to see what the healing brush does. Oh, healing brush does pretty well. So you know what? I'll just use the healing brush. Sometimes I don't trust this tool. Sometimes this tool is kind of like, it just doesn't work that well. In this case, it's actually working well. So I'm just going to use the healing brush. So there's two different ways you can do it. But definitely the healing brush is working pretty legit right now. Cool beans. And there's no right or wrong way of doing something. It's just whatever's easier, whatever looks good. But the healing brush came in the clutch there. Cool beans. Let me just fix up some of these little blemishes down here. Nope, I got a little too crazy there. All right, let me take a look at some of the comments after I fix this last little blemish. All right, what do we got here on YouTube? Oh, what is this? What is sick? I need to capture one ASAP. Yes, Ness, you need to be on capture one. Ben, and I think Naya was making the transition. Marco uses capture one. You need to get on it. What's up, Jose? Thanks for mentioning India. You're welcome, man. A lot of my fans are from India here on YouTube. I want to say that you guys are just barely under the United States. So one of my biggest crowds is from India. So that's why I go live in the morning for you guys. Any way to get your frequency separation action? Yes, you can get my frequency separation, Robbie, on my YouTube channel, man. I have a frequency separation video, man. Just make sure if you download it, a lot of people ask me, it's like, hey, Eli, it's not working. You need to make a layer one. You need to have this right here. You need to make a duplicate of the background. It needs to be called layer one in order for it to work, okay? And I mentioned that briefly in the video, so just make sure you check that out, man. I'm watching from Brazil. Awesome. Why don't we see your... Oh, why don't you use your iMac for editing? My iMac, the reason why I don't use my iMac is because I have an older iMac. And the reason why I never upgraded or stuck with Mac is not that I don't like it. I have two Macs. I have a MacBook from 2013 and I have an iMac from 2011, sorry. And the main reason why I switched to Windows is because I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 9 years, and we used to have Macs in my lab. For the first 3 or 4 years that I was teaching, we had Macs. So what was cool is that I was able to use my personal computer to make video tutorials for my photography students, for my video students, blah, 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 right? And then the district told me, it's like, yo, we're going to change to Windows, and we're not going to stick with Mac anymore because the Macs were old. And so they basically told me, it's like, dude, we're going to go Windows. Sorry. And I was like, okay, fine. I get it. You know, whatever. And so at the time, my Mac was already getting old, 2013. And I had to make a decision what was best for me and then plus my students. I make most of my money with my teaching job. Like that's where I get my income. The photography stuff is just more for fun. It's a hobby kind of thing. So the laptop, I decided to go Windows because, well, if I was going to continue teaching my courses and I needed a fast laptop, well, I needed to upgrade it and change to Windows because the laptop that the school gives me is like super slow. It's meant for like emailing and for PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. They don't understand that I teach photography and video and that I need a more powerful computer. And no matter what I tell them, they're not going to invest, $2,000 or $3,000 on a laptop for me. That's just the way it works sometimes. And there's no animosity towards a school or anything like that. Like I totally understand. Like that's a lot of money, for a school district, to just hand out to, a teacher that's gonna just use it for, photography and video. So that's when I decided, it's like, you know what, my next computer is gonna be a Windows so that when I make the tutorials for my students, it'll look the same because I've been teaching for 9 years. If I made a video tutorial on a Mac and I told my students, okay, this is what it's going to look like, but your Windows is going to be a different screen, different menus, they would get confused. So that's the whole reason why I went to Windows, the main reason, to be honest. And not only that, but I've already owned 2 Windows laptops since then in the past 5 years. And Windows is totally fine. I like it. I don't see any issues with it. The only thing I do miss is like iMessage and AirDrop. And I've been able to save a lot of money going through Windows too. Like I can spec the hell out of it and still like not break the bank. So I'm totally content with it. But I still use my Mac computers. They still run really well, especially my 2011 laptop. I mean, my 2011 iMac. That computer is almost 10 years old and it's still working great. And I use it mainly for the internet and stuff. So sometimes when I'm watching YouTube and stuff, that's where I will watch my videos. So if you've seen my YouTube channel, that's the computer that's in the background. And I still use my 2013 laptop also with my students. So they're all still being used. So anyways, I'm still on frequency separation. I'm just going to get rid of some of these little flyaway hairs here. Oh man, I'm going a little crazy here. Come on, Eli. All right, let me take a look at some of the comments here on YouTube. What do we got over here on YouTube? Let's see. Nice. Love from India. Big fan. Thank you, guys. Like I said, that's why I go live in the morning for you guys. Yeah, there's so many reasons going behind using Windows. Yeah, at least for me, like I said, it makes more sense for me to use Windows. Those of you watching on Instagram, looks like we got a spike in views over here on Instagram. We have like 35 now. I am on YouTube, so if you want to see my full screen and see everything nice and clean and clear, just join my YouTube live. We have about 57 people watching right now. All right. So this one, I think this is the one that I struggled with. So let me see with frequency separation. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get scared here. Let me try it with the mixer brush. Let me save it in my history so I don't lose where I left off. Let me see if I can get this color out. Yay, so I'm getting the color out here. With the mixer brush, I'm just kind of mixing these colors, bringing in more of those oranges. And then I'll fix everything else up. And the reason why I wouldn't use the healing brush here is because there's that texture, that pattern, and I don't know if it'll match up well with it. So I'm gonna try the mixer brush route first. So far it's already removing the color, but it's leaving that little mark behind here. So I'm gonna need to come into the texture now. And if it doesn't work, I'll do that after the live because this part might be a little tedious and I don't wanna keep you guys like here. It might not look good right away. And it's one of those things I might need to concentrate on, and I don't want to waste the whole live just doing this part. And I want to get into dodge and burn. So I think that did a decent job. Yeah, I did a good job. There's still some spots over here. Let me just fix this last spot, and then we'll get into dodge and burn. So today, me and Marco are going to be testing out the 400 millimeter 2.8 from Sony. So that's going to be fun. We're actually going to be working with Britt, who's this model. So we're going to shoot, and then our friend Jeff is going to record some video for us for behind the scenes YouTube video. So that should be fun. We're just doing it for the fun of it. So that should be cool. Well, I post this on my YouTube afterwards. Absolutely. It'll be there. Usually my lives, I only leave them there for like a day or two because I don't like to scatter my content on YouTube. I don't want to have like 4 lives and then like my normal YouTube content. So I leave them there for like a day or two. And then I put them unlisted. So technically you could still watch them if you still have the link, but they won't show up on my profile anymore. So I'm thinking of maybe possibly linking them on my my website. So if you guys miss it or whatever, and then I take it down, that you could still see it there on my website, even though you won't be able to like see the thumbnail on YouTube. All right, so we'll do the hair later. We'll worry about the hair later. I'm not too concerned with the hair right now. I'll fix that later. One of the things I forgot to remove was this little plant over here, but like I said, we'll do that later. So I'm going to do a little bit of the frequency separation on the skin. I'm going to put this one on 0. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to reset this. There we go. I'm going to grab one of the highlights. And I'm going to grab one of the darks here. There we go. And that'll kind of show me some good contrast here. We'll switch back to my mixer brush. And I'm going to zoom out to make sure that I don't get too cute here. And to be honest, I'm probably not going to do too much. I am going to rely more on dodge and burn for this specific image. But I will use it on the legs because that'll save me a lot of time. Let's take off that contrast real quick. So let's come back over here. Perfect. So like I was saying, so yeah, we're going to record a 400 millimeter. We're going to compare the 400 millimeter to the Nikon F2 200 millimeter because Marco has that lens, and then also the Sigma 135 1.8. So we're just going to kind of compare the bokeh on those lenses just for the fun of it. Why not? Me and Marco have been wanting to rent that lens for like the longest time. So we finally decided to rent it. Marco's on vacation right now. So I was like, dude, we got to do it during that time. So it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. I was texting Marco this morning. I was like, dude, it's going to be so much fun. So hopefully I'll get that video out within the next week or so. I do need to get a video out soon for my sponsorship with Skillshare. So I'm going to be working on a new video. I think I asked you guys on my YouTube channel, on my feed, what do you guys want to see next? And you guys said a Photoshop full edit. I know you guys really enjoy those, so might do that. How do you get the sky in the background? Mine always gets blown out. So what I do is I'm using high-speed sync. Make sure you're using high-speed sync. Also consider not shooting at 1.4 or 1.2. Let in a little bit less light with your aperture. And then if you can use like a 600 or 400 watt strobe, that'll allow you to get enough power on the person. And then if you noticed here, when I'm in Capture One, the HDR slider here in the highlights is super helpful. I think it works really great. So that brings in a lot of detail. So that's a big help as well, man. Good question. ND filters. Yeah, you can also use ND filters. I know my friend Francisco Hernandez does ND filters. He uses the clip-in filter and stuff like that. And I know my friend Jeff also uses those, but Jeff mainly uses them for video. But I know Francisco likes to keep it, the shutter speed, like around 200, like the sync speed, so he can get the full power of the light and stuff like that. I have the Peter McKinnon ND filters that I've been actually wanting to try with photos just for the heck of it. I don't know if it'll look good, but I don't know. I just haven't had a chance to use them. But anyways, now I'm on dodge and burn, guys. This is the part. It's probably going to take me about maybe 15, 20 minutes. Let's kind of see here. I'm going to make sure I zoom out just a little bit more. There you go. I zoomed in too much. And so my new settings are 75% opacity and 1% flow. To me, that's been working like super awesome for me. If this edit turns out good, I'll probably do like a full edit of this photo on my YouTube channel. At least that's the plan, but what I'm doing right now has to look good. If it doesn't look good to the quality I like, then I probably won't do it. I'll probably do a different photo. I might do my recent photo with Jessica. I think that photo came out badass. So I think I'm going to definitely do that one more than likely. And then just hold off on this one. Because that one, I already know the edit came out good. This one, I'm re-editing it because I liked the first edit. But I was like, you know what? I want to just try something a little different and just kind of come back to it. Cool. So let's see what we've done so far. I'm holding Alt on the, so this is all the dodge that I've done to smooth out the stuff. Hey, I love your full edit videos on YouTube. You should upload this one. Well, this one I am gonna upload for like a day or two. This isn't like typically like the way I typically record my full edits that you normally see. Like I kind of fast forward parts because if I don't fast forward, it's gonna take forever. Like doing this dodge and burn, you know, nobody wants to, you know, see me do this for like 40 minutes or 20 minutes. Depends. Sometimes it'll take me longer than other times, you know. But yeah, this one will stay up for like 2 days. So you guys have 2 days to kind of like check it out, enjoy it, and then it comes down after like 2 days. It'll go unlisted. Maybe I'll put them in private, but I'll just leave them there. So I'm zooming in just a little bit more for these detailed areas. I don't want to get too crazy, but I do want to blend in some of these areas here. And you guys are really rocking it on YouTube today. I have a lot of you guys sticking around. Got about 50 people. It's been about like 50, 60 range today. I wish I could do a faster dodge and burn, guys, but there's no shortcuts to dodge and burn. All those like apps that kind of give you that artificial skin retouch just never look good. So I'm just trying to blend off these transitions here. And I have a white brush. I'm just lightening up things right now. I'll get into the dodge in a little bit. And we'll see how long I stay live for. What's cool about, I'm on my burn now, so I'm gonna burn some of these areas here. There's some areas that are a little bit too bright. Sorry if you guys can't see my cursor on YouTube. It's kind of hard to see because it's even hard for me to see it on my screen because I'm using my BenQ monitor. But I'll show you where I'm burning right now. So let me hold Alt. Get out of the way. There we go. Just a little bit of burn. I'm doing a lot more dodge right now. So let me take this off and let's take a look at it before and after. Yep, that's looking good. I'm liking this. It's looking good. I'm liking this edit better than my first edit. So actually, you know what? I'm going to open up my first edit. And I might copy some of the color grade stuff, or I might just start from scratch, which I think I am. But I do want to have it as a reference to see like, okay, where did I maybe go a little bit too much where I feel like, oh man, I forgot I had so many different versions of it. So let's just go with this one, the first one here. Sucks today at my apartment is mow the lawn day. So if you guys hear a bunch of like lawnmowers in the background, I apologize. So I just bought the AR4. I see you use the Westcott FJ, or do you recommend the 8600 for extra power? So I would go with the 8600. I love the FJ 400. It's a nice light and all. But I think going with the better like ecosystem, because you can use the Evolve and you can use you know, so many more lights with it. I think that it's better to go with the other ecosystem, unless you know for sure, for damn sure, that you know that you're only going to be using one light. Then the FJ400, then you're fine. But if you're going to want to do multiple light setups, then, oh man, you're kind of screwed with just the FJ. I know you can buy that new adapter. There's like an adapter that you can plug in. But I'm not going to trust those results. I don't think that it's going to be like consistent. I think it's going to be more of a pain in the ass than a good thing. I probably will buy that though, because I do want to test it out. But we were just using the FJ400 the other day. We shot like 2 days ago, me and Marco. We're using that. We're probably going to use the FJ400 today, only because we know for sure we're going to use a one light setup. So, and my friend Omar still has my Explore 400. I lent it to him. So I'll probably use my Westcott. If we decide to do, those of you that just joined, we're going to do a YouTube video today. We're going to compare the 400 millimeter to the 200 millimeter f2. And we're going to compare the bokeh. So I'm thinking we're going to do a little bit of strobe today. And mainly do natural light because we're going to be so damn far. Me and Marco were testing out the 400 millimeter yesterday. And we're going to struggle if we're too far away with the strobe. Okay, so far I think the face looks pretty good. I'm going to start moving now into the arms and just getting a little bit. I don't think I need to do too much. That's the way I usually work. I start with the face, then I go into the arms a little bit and see if there's anything. I try to do most of my retouching on this part here with frequency separation. So I'm actually going to just go back into my frequency separation. And they're the lawnmower guys. They're like right on my window. So I apologize, guys. So I'm going to smooth this out with the mixer brush. It's just going to be so much easier, so much faster to just mix this stuff. There we go. Oh man, I don't know what happened there. I got like some weird stuff over here. Let me try that again. I'm gonna try to blend that off. Okay, cool. So let me close the frequency separation. We got this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I like the, let me zoom in so you guys can see the face. I'm going to try not to do too much. I like it. I really honestly didn't do that much. I mean, this is just the before and after. What do you guys think? Should I spend some more time on it? Keep it like that so I don't push it too much? I like it. What's going on, Ram? Appreciate you sharing. You're welcome, guys. Address to my YouTube. My YouTube is Eli Infante. If you go to my YouTube channel, guys, or search on YouTube, I'm sorry. Okay, let me check out some of the questions here on YouTube before I move on to the next step. I'm so ready to try out the 60 megapixels. Oh man, I know it's gonna be super awesome. I saw your post on YouTube regarding you will edit someone else's clicks. Do you select the entries? I haven't selected them yet, man. I'm gonna be editing those soon, man. So thank you for reminding me with that. I need to learn how to do frequency separation. Did you say you have a video? Yes, I do have a video on it, June. So if you look on my YouTube channel, I have one, and it also has a free frequency separation action as well. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Well, thank you for the feedback right now on YouTube, guys. We're going to move on. I think the skin looks fine. If I want to, I can always do some more dodge and burn towards the end. I'm actually going to still stick with dodge and burn. I'm going to get into my global stuff now, though. So I'm going to come into my actions, and I'm going to add a new dodge, and I'm going to add another burn here. And I'm going to start burning some areas that I want to kind of decrease to kind of create some depth here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into something called Lumenzia. And all this is going to do is just going to make selections based on luminosity values. So I can go to my darks 2, and you'll see that it's grabbing a lot of the darks, a little bit too much that I would want. So I'm going to try darks 3. Let me try darks 4. So I think I like darks 3. So what I'm going to do, what you guys see in white, that's what's going to make the selection, right? That's what I want to select. So when I'm burning, I'm only going to burn where those areas are in white. So instead of me accidentally going into the highlights or accidentally going into the midtones, I'm going to stay in the dark range. So once I have that selected, I can go here and I can go to apply and I'm going to hit select. So what I have now is I have a selection of that white area. Now you can't see the marching ants, Lumenzia does a great job of hiding the marching ants because it would be super annoying to see the ants kind of all over the place. But there is a selection, and I can tell here because it's in green. So I'm going to go to my burn, which is my global now. And because I've made that selection, now I can come in here with my white brush, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to maybe increase my flow to 7. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start darkening up some of these areas here in the flowers, because I definitely don't want any attention going towards these flowers, because I don't care about these flowers, or the greens, I should say, in these little plants here. So I'm going to just come in here and I'm going to just come in and just add a little bit of darkness. I'm going to come into the shirt as well. So I'm going to add just a little bit of darkness here. And if you can't see what I'm doing, so let me hold Alt, and you'll see that right there. That is my selection there that I had made earlier. And it's only darkening up those white areas, which is really cool. So if I hit the before and then the after, you'll see like a subtle little difference there with the darkness, okay? And that's how I'm gonna create that 3-dimensional depth. I'm gonna come in here, also get a little bit of the leg down here. And I'm gonna grab some of these areas down here because I don't want the attention to go there. Because the attention I want is all right here in this area. So I'm gonna try to subtly dark these areas around here to keep my attention up there. Okay, so I'm still just darkening up these little areas over here. And I'm gonna get rid of that selection by just pressing Control and then D on the keyboard. Now, I'm gonna come back to my dark selection. I'm gonna go darks 2 here. Can you do the full color grading process? Yes, I will. So I'm gonna stick here with you guys for a while, and we're gonna do the whole color grading. Once again, my process is very organic. Like, I sometimes don't know where I wanna go with my images, so you're gonna see me make mistakes. You're gonna see me try something, and you're gonna see me like, oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, this looks good. This looks bad. This looks awesome. And I'm gonna be going back and forth. So right now I'm gonna make my darks 2 selection. So I'm gonna select that. And the reason why I wanna do my darks 2 selection is that I wanna be able to burn in this little cheekbone over here. So I'm still on my global. I'm gonna zoom in here. And I want to darken up this little cheekbone that's going to be right here, and just a little bit. I don't want to get too cute with it, so I'm going to lower down my opacity. Let's go about 3% flow, and I'm going to zoom out, and I am going to get my white brush. Where is it at? And I'm going to start just slowly brushing this in. I don't know if it's doing too much, but that's kind of a good thing because I don't want to do it too much. Yeah, it's adding it just a little bit. Let me hold Alt, and you can see it right there. Yep, it's doing that. Cool. All right. So I just ended the live on Instagram, and we're going to continue here on YouTube. Since you guys joined me over here, we're going to stay live. We have such a great crowd here on YouTube. We're going to stay live, and we're going to do the whole thing together, okay? So just be patient with me. All right. So I'm still going to darken up some areas down here just so we can make some of these areas pop a little bit. Okay, and I am going to deselect that. And once again, I'm going to hold Alt on the keyboard, and you can see where I've darkened up some of the areas there. Now, it's a very subtle effect. You're not going to see it pop up too much, but that's exactly what I wanted. I don't want it to pop too much. I don't want it to get too dark there, but it's looking good. Awesome. Okay, I'm also noticing that the hand is a little too bright. So because I had the light camera, oops. Oh my gosh, my computer's going crazy. There you go. Because I had my light camera left, the light's coming down, boom, and it hit our hand here. So what I want to do is I want to make a light selection because this is very bright. This is in the lights, right? So I'm going to go lights number 2, and I'm going to see if I can make a selection of that hand. So I have it selected there. Let me go lights 1. With the lights 1, make that pop even more, and it will. So I'm going to select that because I'm just focused on the hand, and I'm going to stick to my burn layer, and I'm just going to go in here with a couple of swipes just to darken up this hand so I don't get too much attention on this hand. So now if I click the eyeball before and after, let me zoom in here so you guys can see this. Zoom in a little bit more, before and then after. Just a small effect, but just kind of decreases the chances of me going there to see areas that I might not really want to go to. So I'm going to go select, deselect. I'm going to go to my dodge now. Now we're going to make some areas pop that we really want to see now. So I'm going to click my lights 2 now. So I'm trying to focus on the areas that I want to brighten up. So we have areas here and here. So that looks good. I'm going to go select. So now when I brush wherever those white areas are at, I'm gonna brighten them up ever so slightly. So I'm gonna zoom in now. And because it was camera left, I know that this part of the face should be a little bit brighter. So I'm just gonna do a couple of clicks right there. Definitely gonna come in right here on this little cheek, right there, and then on the eyes, and then of course here on the chin, and then a little bit on the lips. Okay, so I'm gonna deselect that, and I'm gonna come back to my lights 1, because I'm gonna come into the hair and I'm gonna brighten up the hair just a little bit. So I'm gonna select that. How do I keep the same colors on all my photos? So what I'll do, when I get into the color grading part, like actually let me just show you here. So like this photo, this is like my first version. This is not the good version, right? But here are all my, like right here, it says color balance, color grading, right? I can just grab these layers and I can just drag them over. Once I'm done with a specific color grade, and I can drag it over, and now I have it. So that's one of the ways that I would keep the colors consistent, okay? Let me just change my music. I'm like jamming out over here, but I need some new music. Let me go just to here, and let me just go, there we go. Cool. All right, so I have my lights 1 selections. I'm gonna come back to the hair real quick, and I am going to change my flow to like 8, because I want that hair to glow a little bit more. Cool beans. Can't see your cursor. Yeah, I need to fix that. I don't know why it's not showing my cursor. I think it's because my cursor is so small. But basically right now I'm just brightening up the hair a little bit. Okay. So let's see what else we have. I think we're good with that. I'm gonna go into the eyes now. So let's do the eyes, and let's do my eyes and make those eyes pop. Let's go about 4. Perfect. So what else do I need to do here? Let me think for a little bit. I'm kind of stuck here. Okay, I'm gonna try something different. So I'm gonna rename this to eyes. So this is a part of the process I was telling you guys where it's very organic. I'm gonna try something, see if it works, and if it doesn't, then we scrap it. Ooh, excuse me, I was about to sneeze. I'm gonna add a new curves layer. I'm gonna go with Lumenzia, and I'm going to select the greens only. And when I have the greens selected, oh, it's like a yellows, I guess. Wow. Okay. I have that. Let me go into, let's make a selection of it. Oh, you know what? I should have masked it. But let's see what it looks like with the selection. Nah, it's not working the way I want. It's okay. We'll scrap that. I was going to try to darken up the greens, but we'll save that for later. We can do that like in camera raw. Okay. So now we're going to get into the color grading. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to go into selective color first. And I'm going to zoom in more towards the skin. I'm more concerned with the skin. So I'm going to just play around with this and what looks good to my eyes. Okay, I'll go into the yellows. Now, this is just specifically the skin. I'm not going to push it too much because I'm going to do some more stuff later, but I just kind of want to get like a good starting point. Yeah, just a small difference, but that's all I wanted. Good. And now that I have that, let's see. I'm gonna now come into Lumenzia. We're gonna go if under. We're gonna do a blend if, and we're gonna do a color balance here. And I want to do a blend if with darks 4, so I can really target the darks. Okay, I like that. So I like the magenta. It's going the magenta route. So let's go right about there. So how's that looking? Yeah, it just deepens out this little area down here, which is cool. You can't see my cursor. I wonder why. Well, right now with the cursor, don't worry, because right now I'm just color grading. You guys don't necessarily need to see my cursor because all you're gonna just focus on right now is just my settings. I need to check with vMix, the software that I'm using to screen record, to make sure I figure out why it's not showing up. So I'll do that later and we'll fix that problem. So I'm gonna add another color balance. This time I'm gonna come into my lights 1. I'm gonna go into highlights. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do the gradient map skin tone. What does this look like? Yeah, you know what? I'm digging that. That looks good. So I'm using this gradient for my skin tone. This is the before and after. I like it. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mask it in, and then I'm gonna adjust the opacity. I'm in a little bit to make sure that I don't overdo it. So I'm just brushing this in on the skin. Those of you that can't see my cursor. So I'm using a gradient map, what you see right here. This is adding it into my shadows. This is going into my midtones. This is going to my highlights. And I'm going to add this and brush this only on the skin tone. So we get a nice, even skin tone kind of color. And I have a video on this on how to get perfect skin tones. There's 3 ways that I like to do it, either color balance, selective color, or gradient maps. Lately, I've been enjoying the gradient map method the most lately. It seems to get the nice cleanest kind of look from all 3 of them. So if you haven't done gradient maps, you should definitely check it out. Okay. Now that I've brushed all that in, I'm going to lower the opacity because it might be a little too strong. So let's go maybe about, 25. That looks awesome. I like it. That's looking super cool. All right, so now we're going to go into the curves color grade. I don't know if I have anything saved here. I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe make this spike up just a little bit. I'm going to come in here to my reds. I'm just eyeballing this, you know. I'm just trying to see what looks good. I'm going to add these points to my red, greens, and blues. And then I'll tweak them. Like I said, a lot of times it's just a matter of like just what looks good to my eyes. And it's just part of this like process of like what I want to try out. So I'm already just liking that. That looks actually pretty decent right there. I'm gonna go into my reds and maybe adjust the reds just a little bit more. Nah, I don't want them up too much. We'll bring that down right there. Good. Awesome. So I'm definitely liking this image. So this was the first time I edited it. Look at where I went. I went like really crazy there. It was really ridiculous. Like right now it's looking pretty good. It still looks a little flat, and that's fine because I'm going to get into camera raw. I'm going to start pushing things a little bit more. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good. How to make this match the skin. So I mentioned that earlier. Use a gradient map. So just find like the skin tone colors like this. And this is going to go into my shadows. This is going to go into my midtones. This is going to go into my highlights and bright areas. So by doing that, what that's going to do is that it's going to make your overall skin tones like kind of just all match and blend really well. So I'm actually going to come back into this. Let me see if I can maybe adjust this a little bit more. I'm going to get rid of some of these points. I don't think I need some of these. And overall, it's looking nice. Cool. All right, guys. So I'm still kind of trucking along here. I might undo that, actually. Was it? Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Okay. So let's see. I did my curves. I think we're ready to get into the... Let me do my contrast pop. This is just going to allow me to darken up some areas that I feel like are not important. And this will also give me that little three-dimensional pop as well. Didn't like what I did there on the leg. Okay, cool. So that's just a little pop there. Nice. So now let's get into camera raw. It's going to merge everything together. And this is the one that's probably going to make the image pop a little bit where I want it. So that's going to be cool. All right, hold on, guys. I'm just checking my phone real quick. Okay, cool. All righty. So now let's get into camera raw. We're almost kind of, not almost done, but once I kind of do the camera raw, that's when I usually save, and then I'll take a break and come back and get a fresh perspective on it. So I'm going to use some presets. These are not like special like presets that I've made. These are just presets that I've used with other images. And I'm just going to see if maybe they look good. But I think I'm going to start it from scratch. I think the Julie West look actually looks pretty good. So I'm gonna apply the Julie. Yeah, let's try apply the Julie one and see if we can make this one work. So I'm gonna go into the -2 here. I feel like the reds are a little too strong, so I'm just gonna come in here. You can see my camera settings. I was shooting at 2.5. I know earlier somebody was saying, how do I still get an underexposed sky? Well, don't shoot at those low aperture numbers because you're letting in too much light. And then use the model to block the sun. So I placed her and I framed her specifically to block that sun. So right now, HSL is going to be very important on this image. I have some really strong greens that I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do with them. And there's a lot of yellows, so I'm going to try to bring these down. Saturation. I'm going to try to bring them down as much as I can. The yellows, I think that that's where a lot of the plants are in. So I'm going to try to go a little bit right about there. Looks good. Let's go 10. And then the oranges, I'm going to knock down those oranges a little bit. And same thing with those reds. Right about there looks good. It's looking good so far. What's up, guys? What's up? Vignetting, okay. So I'm going to bring back the saturation. I feel like that's just a little too strong. I'm going to keep that there. That's too much. We're going to just leave it at like -1. Perfect. Saturation, we're definitely going to bring that down. So I like it there. Okay. So, what do we got? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to look at the before and after, so let's take a look. I like where the image is going. Let me just kind of analyze it really quick, see if I notice any problematic areas. If you guys notice anything, you let me know. So, just staring at the image, I think the skin tones look fine. I'm going to bring up the vibrance just a little bit. It's like 2. Check out dehaze, see if dehaze does anything good. So I'll bring dehaze up to like 1. Don't want to bring up texture. So I think this is good. I'm going to hit OK. Yep, I like it. This is before, and then the after, and before, and then the after. And it looks a lot better than what I had over here the first time I did this. This was ridiculous. Sky pop-up, sky color. So do you want me to bring the sky color more? Is that what you guys are telling me? Let's go ahead and try it out. Thank you for that input. I'd make the sky pop. Okay, so let's take a look at it, guys. Thank you for the feedback. So let's see. Let's go into the sky. So I'm going to go into saturation. And then let's increase those blues just a little bit. I agree. I'm liking it more with that sky. But I don't want to bring it too much because this part looks too fake. So I'm definitely going to bring it up a little bit more. I'm going to go into luminance. And if I darken up that sky just a little bit more, that'll pop. I wonder if it'll pop also with this one. Nah, it doesn't do much. Okay. And then maybe the hue. Maybe we can play around with the hue. Cool. I also wonder if I use the gradient filter and if I bring this down. If I can bring down the highlights even more right here. And then use like the white balance slider to really bring in some little bit more purples. I mean, a little bit more blues. Go about right there. So I think we'll go about right there. So let's take a look at the before and after. So yeah, brought that sky up just a little bit more. Cool beans. Cool. Well, let me save what I have so far, just in case. It would be devastating if I lost everything. And I think I might end it there, guys, unfortunately. Just because I really do need a break. And then I'll like come back. But let me try a couple of things before I do end it. What I'm gonna try is some of my other things that I have. Let's try the gradient map tone, see how that looks. Not for this image, making it too contrasty. Let's try red loom. Red loom sometimes works really good. I like the red loom at 30. That works for me. Okay. So some of the other things that I might want to play around with is I'm going to just literally just play with this. Not too concerned about it being like super perfect, but I'm going to try this new tool that I've been using, Retouching Toolkit Color Wheel. I'm going to do the lift gamma, and I'm just going to play around with this and just try to see if I can find something that looks cool. And I think for this case, what I'm looking for is not necessarily on her, but I'm looking at the background. I want to see if I can bring some more interesting colors. I'm just not satisfied with this. Like I want to maybe add some golden tones into there. So I'll mask it out of her in a little bit. But I'm just playing around with colors. And it allows me to select my midtones, my shadows, and my highlights. And as I mentioned, I'm just focused on this stuff right here, the leaves. Don't worry about what it's doing to the skin. I'm going to mask this out. And I'm just playing. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. Sometimes you'll stumble upon something that's interesting. So this is the part of the process where I was mentioning earlier where I get really experimental and I just try different stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay. So I kind of like that. I like what it did to the little plants back here. But I'm gonna lower that strength. I'm gonna go to about 35. What's cool is it'll automatically add these curves for you. So that's what I like about it. It's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna press Control I on the keyboard, and I'm going to brush it only in the area that's not her skin. I'd probably have to just lower the opacity a little bit. Just adding a little bit of orange tones in there so it's not so green heavy. Kind of goes with that orange theme that we were going for here. 35. Awesome. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it there. I'll probably do a little bit more to the image, but you pretty much saw like the whole process there. We started off in Capture One. Let me hold Alt here. This is what we came out of Capture One, and we got it to here. And then this is what it looked like in Capture One. So we went from that to here. And that's where I've left off, and I'm going to continue editing in a little bit. I'm going to make something to eat. I'm hungry. But thank you guys for watching. It was super fun. Let me save it. You guys were such a good audience. How do I get the retouching color wheel? Just search for it on YouTube or search for it on Google, man. You'll be able to find it. Just look up retouching toolkit color wheel.